Uh, Thank you, Chairperson, CMD BSNL, Mr. Upadhyay, other speakers on the dais, and people on the audience, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to all of you. Now, I'm making a presentation on behalf of our CMD BSNL, who is sitting here. Now, since this forum has started since yesterday morning, some of the things which we are putting in the presentation may be a repetition for few of them, few of you, but I think it is good to just make it again. Now, e-governance, what we are talking in India, of course, has taken roots and it is progressing also. Let us understand what is requirement of e-governance. One is governance. In governance, let us talk about what people expect from governance is the transparency, that everybody should get the equal opportunity and without any hidden agenda from anybody. Then people's participation. People from the grassroots should be able to participate in the decision making and in the whole process. And of course, as we are a democratic country, promotion of a democratic society in the governance. Now, the public services which are being provided through e-governance and which are expected to be provided through e-governance should be efficient, cost-effective, and responsive to the governance. They should be convenient services to the citizen and business. When I was coming along with chairman, we were discussing that, today, suppose a villager want a land record. He has to go to Patwari and he may have to make 5 or 6 visits and face lot of inconvenience in getting those particular records. If he is sure that through e-governance kiosk, he has to just apply and get within 5 minutes on a prescribed fees. That is the basic benefit which e-governance promises to the citizens. Greater citizens access to public information. Today, of course, RTI has given, but RTI is again limited to certain hands only. Accountability in delivery of services to the citizen should be there. And when we are offering these services, we know that we have problem in educated masses who can be able to control these e-governance facilities. So simplicity, efficiency, and accountability in management of these applications as well as data, managing voluminous information and data effectively, and information services. Now, if we talk about the area of e-governance which have been identified within the country and outside are agriculture, municipalities, gram panchayat, common services centers. We can come about what is common services centers, transport, postal department, and land record. So, summing up in total that these are, now what a citizen expect from e-governance, what we are trying to do or which we have done. He needs a healthcare solution should be given, which are eluding lot of citizens today. Then distance education, we know that a person who is in Jharkhand and a person who is living in Mumbai or Delhi, the difference of quality of educations which people have. So that bridge has to be bridged. Land ownership record, as I said, then birth and death certificates, how to apply the driving license, ration cards, and passport. And of course, these are few applications which are being promised through common services centers, which are a project which is initiated by DIT. Lodge and check the status of police complaint. This is a major area which all of know. The security is a major requirement through e-governance. Legal cases, court processing, and then fulfillment of RTI and RT requirement. Now let us look at what are the results of the world over from e-governance, which are the area which most of the countries are focusing on. E-governance, as I said, education, healthcare delivery, inland security, and emergency services. Emergency services, yes, we have, in India, we have not yet done much job on this. But I think slowly and slowly, like mobile companies have already coming with some applications where a person can just fill up 4-digit code and that information can go to the police station, to the hospital and all relevant places, maybe to the relatives also. A person is in need of this requirement. So these are emergency services which are required, and I think some work are required to be done on this. Let us see what work is already completed or it is in the process. At the national level, we can see that Customs, Central Excise, Postal Department, Passport, Direct Taxes, all these have already initiated the work on national level. And on state level, what we are saying state level is not necessary that all the states have done, but few states have taken initiative on this, like giving the land records, registration, transport, police, municipality. Those areas are already covered in few states of the country. Now let us see that what BSNL has contributed to the e-governance initiative which are taken by the central government or state government. First of all, let us talk about the infrastructure which BSNL provide to the central government and state government and all other private operators who are taking initiative in e-governance. We are serving the nation with more than 38,000 telephone exchanges, out of which more than 28,500 are in rural area only, which we have tested. I think this is the biggest network in the world covered by the telephone exchanges anywhere in the country, in the world. And we have already covered around 5.5 lakh villages with either a direct telephony or a mobile telephony or a village panchayat telephone out of a total of 5.8 lakh populated villages. In the mobile and wireless, we have already have more than 35,000 mobile towers in rural area. Mobile connections, 35% of the total mobile connections which are being provided by BSNL are in rural area. And we are providing exclusively WLL services wherever mobile and fixed line is not able to reach in these areas. Let us talk about the broadband, which is the major infrastructure for e-governance. Out of 28,500, already 24,500 telephone exchanges are already broadband enabled. We have already reached to 1,18,000 village panchayats out of 2,50,000. 1,70,000 villages are already having broadband facilities, and we have already connected 8.2 lakh broadband connections in rural areas. Now the price at which we are offering again is one of the cheapest in the world. We are offering at a rate of 99 rupees per month minimum tariff, and the minimum speed, although in urban area we are giving 256 as a broadband speed, in rural we have kept minimum speed of 512 kbps. Now as far as the support to the government initiative is concerned, we are fully associated with